Jamie and Lisa from Lower Michigan Adventures. We're learning about pines today and how to find Fatwood. It's an adventure time. The Booger King, everybody.
The Booger King. All right.
Yeah. Let's roll.
Okay, gals. Where are we and what are we up to?
We're in Barry County, Michigan on a North Country Trail. I brought you guys here because they've got some beautiful pines and I can help teach you about the pines here in Michigan, Southwest Michigan.
That's exactly what I want to do. I want to learn about the pines.
If you want to find Fatwood, it's important that you learn about pines and the difference between a pine and a spruce and a cedar. All your different evergreens. We even have some tamarack pines over in the wetlands over here I hope to show you too. Let's go down the trail and check out the pines.
All right.
So I'm bringing you over here because we have a red pine, a couple red pines, and even a Scotch pine over here that aren't surrounded by other trees, which cause the branches to grow bigger. I'll show you later in a forest where the trees are so tall there's no branches. I'm bringing you over here because these trees are in the open and you'll get to see bigger branches.
Okay, let's have you point that out then.
So over here we have a red pine. These red pine branches are quite big because they all get sunlight. You can recognize this as a red pine because of its puzzle piece bark. It's got a little bit of tan and red in the bark. And your pine needles over here are big and bushy.
Big and bushy.
Yep, spiky balls is what you'll recognize when you have a red pine. They're 5-inch long needles and they snap when you break them. There's a red pine. Great idea. Now Lisa just asked me what kind of pine can you make tea out of. You can make tea out of any pine except ponderosa pine, yew, and I think Norfolk pine. Not too familiar with. Here you don't have to worry about it. I recommend white pine. White pine needles for tea and use plenty.
Right. Okay, so let's get a close-up of this.
This here is red pine.
This is a red pine.
Yep, this here is red pine. White pine has 5 needles, red pine has 2, and so do the rest of the pines here that we're going to be looking at. The thing about red pine needles is they're 5 inches long and they snap when you bend them. The other needles are soft and they don't snap. There's a red pine.
Oh yeah. Very educational. Very educational. Thank you.
So over here is a Scotch pine. You see the orange on the bark? But that orange on the bark is where your Scotch pine's at. That's how you recognize your Scotch pine. See this Scotch pine cone?
Yes.
This pine cone points back at the tree. Now jack pine are almost identical to Scotch pine, but their cones point away from the tree. They also have short 2-inch needles with only 2 needles in a bundle. Scotch pine needles twist. Jack pine needles don't. I'll be showing you jack pine here real soon. That's how you tell the difference. And jack pine doesn't have orange. So Scotch pine has orange, 2 needles, 2 inches long with a twist in the needle, and the cones point towards the Scotch pine tree. I'm going to show you a better sample of jack pine later on. I call this octopus pine. When you look at the branches, unlike the rest of the pines, they go upward. And they don't just go upward, but they kind of go down, and it just gets kind of crazy. The bark is not puzzle piece bark like the Scotch pine, red pine, or Austrian pine. The bark is almost like a white pine, just like a regular bark. Right here we have the needles, and like I said, with the Scotch pine, the cones point towards the tree. With the jack pine, the cones point away from the tree. And they're 2-inch needles. I can get rid of those. Those are 2-inch needles just like the Scotch pine. Jack pine and Scotch pine are almost identical except for the bark and the cones. These cones only open in extreme sunlight or fire. So these trees will not plant if they're in a shady area and there's no fire. You've got 3 different types of pines in this one spot, and that's why I brought you guys here. Jack pine's not the best for fatwood. You tend to get dry in the middle and the resin doesn't go up very high. So if you're looking for very rich fatwood, jack pine's not going to deliver.
Right.
But it's still a great fatwood and
Right.
It smells sweet.
Right.
Nice gray. There you go. It's heavy.
Oh, Oh, wow.
Yeah, some nice pieces here. So I brought you here to show you the tall trees, and I'll explain why in a minute.
Okay.
Get you some close-ups of those pine knots. See that beautiful gray color? Those are pine knots. Now I brought these guys into this forest because this forest has tall, straight trees, which are really hard to find fatwood. Right here, I consider low-quality fatwood. If this is all you have to work with, it'll work. But when you're out fatwood hunting, oftentimes you get this color.
Right.
It's pretty dry.
Yeah,
You
don't
can
have
get
any resin.
Right. You can get a fatwood fire. You could get a fire started with this. You could get a fire started with this, but
It's not the best quality. It's like some of the stuff that I was finding, right?
right.
Kinda.
Yeah.
And that's why we come out here to meet up, is to get more educated on what to look for.
That's right.
And you're bringing it to us for educational purposes to learn more about fatwood and what to look for.
Right. This is pretty punky fatwood.
Punky fatwood, yep.
Yep. Punk wood is very light wood that's brown and rotted away, and it makes really good char material. You can char punk wood
Right. Did you have some charred punk wood?
at home.
All right. Right.
When you come to a place like this where they're so tall and there's no big branches, all you got to do is walk the perimeter, follow the tree line where the sun is, and you'll find bigger branches, and you might even find cool knots on the ground.
Yeah. Cool knots.
Yeah. Sometimes you can find fatwood in a stump. Look for the color. If it's wet like this, it's probably no good. And the good thing is, this has a killer pine knot on it. And it's gray, and it's very solid. Lightly solid.
So that one's good, except for the rotted part. So you
Right.
got a little piece that you could cut off that would be actually pretty good then?
Yes, but as far as finding it in the stump, it's not hard.
Right.
Kick the stump. If it's hard as a rock and it's gray, you found gold.
Gold mine.
There's a pine knot. Believe for anyone who wants it.
Where did you come up with this idea of just going out and searching for fatwood?
Well,
Where did it all start?
I was new to YouTube. I only watched videos. I didn't have a channel yet.
Right.
And I saw a fatwood video from Aaron Nelson and a fatwood video from Nathan4071. I left comments, and when it came time to make my first video, everyone was right there. Hey, nice to meet you. And I'm like, I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna find that stuff because it looks cool. So I took my little camera out, went out there, didn't have much luck, but everybody commented, and everyone said, go back over here, look over there. Next thing you know, I'm so fascinated by the color and the fire that I'm just learning everything I can about it. And I didn't know hardly anything about the difference between pine and spruce, so I was on a mission to figure that out. I've been fascinated by trees my whole life.
Oh,
And
very
it's been
interesting.
Sailing away ever since.
So, what would your advice to the viewers be? Would it be keep it burning?
Keep it burning. And keep it burning means a whole lot more than
Right.
just lighting up a fire. It means
Right.
keep hope alive.
Okay. Sounds
Fire's
good.
burning.
You got that right on.
That's right. Let's go. Zoom in on that dead, dry treetop. It almost looks like the tree was topped, but that's the sign of an Austrian pine. That's how they grow. They often do that. They get so tall and then they flatten out on top. We're going into the Austrian pines. Let's go. Since we're identifying trees today, this here is an Austrian pine. You tend to get a silvery bark. This is also a puzzle piece bark. Many pines have puzzle piece bark.
So if we get up real close,
Yep.
it
They
does
look like puzzle
it does
pieces.
look like a puzzle piece,
Yep. And from a distance you get a silvery color
right?
and black furrows. And that's typically how you identify an Austrian pine. Plus the topped part of the tree where it flattens out and the needles tend to go out like a fan, unlike a red pine that's a spiky ball. Austrian pine have pine needles that fan out. And they got cool cones too. This can be easily confused with red pine. So it's real easy to confuse the Austrian pine with the red pine. Red pine is native to Michigan. White pine is native to Michigan. Austrian pine, Scots pine, not native. Jack pine I do believe, but it's more common in Canada. Austrian pine, and these are beautiful. To tell if your branch has fatwood or not, you can slice right into it.
Oh, look at that! Looks like gold.
Black gold. This here is Austrian pine fatwood. Anytime you're looking for fatwood and you want to check it, take your knife, scrape it. Or you can take the back of your saw or your knife. And you want to see how high up the resin goes? You listen to the different sounds. That's your fatwood, Austrian pine. When you decide to take your branch, you want to cut the dry end off first. Now notice how dry that Maya dust was. It's more like sawdust. It just flies away. That's because it's dry.
That's then you a pretty good saw.
Yeah, it's my favorite. I call it the Ripper. Now watch the Maya dust change. It's going to be clumpy. I got to be careful because I don't want to get my hand with the other. There you go.
Look at that.
It's not the richest stuff I've seen.
Not bad.
Smells beautiful. Cut the dry end off. Cut close to the tree. I didn't cut this part because it's too much work with that sapwood.
What do you recommend to use to saw fatwood?
I recommend most to get yourself a curved pruning saw that's pull only, not a push saw, because when you push it gets the Maya dust off, and when you pull it shreds. And the curve helps a lot, a whole lot. Makes a world of difference. I'm going to cut this piece here and here, and I'm going to have Lisa do it for me. See how thick that Maya dust is?
Yeah.
After you, Lisa. She got it. Maybe. Oh, wow.
Ta-da! You did it.
She did it.
Yay!
That was. This is what you want.
I'm gonna pan right across this.
Good idea. Here we go. He's gonna saw himself some fatwood.
I'm working on it.
Look at that Maya dust. My goodness. Oh boy, here it comes. Woo!
Voila!
Wow.
Look at that.
Pretty red.
Hey.
Cheese! Or wait, trees!
Trees! Not cheese, but trees!
Trees! Smell.
Smells good.
You're gonna keep it burning now. Look at that smile.
All right.
Look at all them pine knots.
Now you're gonna have to buy me a saw so you can go.
I know. This is the kind of saw we need.
Where did you get this saw from?
I'll tell you in a second. We got, by the way, this is Norway spruce bark. The Booger King found some boogage. You got, oh, an example of some sap. It's got a little booger going.
The white piece is the Primo. That's what I go after.
Oh yeah, it's nice and clean. Look how juicy that is. Nice.
This is what I go after.
Those are the boogers.
Yep, I don't have to scrape or anything. I just pick them off the tree. I'll show you
And
when
they
you got
light
them
right
all.
up, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them are white. That's what you want. I mean, you can get the amber too,
Right.
but the white stuff is what most people want.
Okay, my question was about the saw.
I get these saws just about anywhere. It's a regular pruning saw.
Right.
This specific one I got from Amazon. It came with a free blade replacement. Hey, can't get much better than that.
No.
Now, folding saws. They're awesome too, but if you're doing some serious fatwood hunting and you're doing some serious sawing,
What I
this
had is
mechanism's gonna
That's what I had happened to me too.
You're gonna wear it out.
Yep, it happened to me, and I didn't even have it that long.
You've got to tighten these regularly. You got to
Yeah.
take care of your stuff and keep them clean.
Right.
Best way to clean these is with rubbing alcohol, hand sanitizer. Purple Power works the best. Thank you for whoever recommended Purple Power to me, because I always clean my saws before I head out, and I just couldn't get them clean this time. And I remembered the Purple Power, and boom, came right off. So you get the sticky resin off of your blades with Purple Power. Purple Power. Rubbing alcohol. Some people even use tannin oil.
That's where you'll cut it.
Devil horns, trees. Let's go to another spot. We're gonna go where the Michigan Gold High Octane is. There you go, twist it.
Twist and pull, twist and pull.
Look at that. Pretty soon, you have this. Let's look at that one. Look at that gold.
Thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for coming along.
Oh my God, it's my pleasure.
We've been wanting to do this all summer, and we finally got to meet up.
Yes, we finally did.
Did you feel like you learned something?
I felt like I
Yes.
learned something. She probably learned a little bit more than me because she's very good at retaining information.
Her?
Yes, she is. She's like a sponge.
Soak it up.
So
Knowledge is power.
Yeah, she'll have that down. She'll be like, look, I remember.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Keep it burning.
Keep it burning.
So you're gonna give that to me?
This is gonna be a gift.
Show me where it needs a handle.
Right here, actually, right through there, the plastic piece got rumbled around in the bag and actually broke, and I couldn't put it back on.
Well,
And
thank
I also brought you this right here.
Oh yeah?
I found this along the NCT trail. This is pyrite.
Really?
Yes, this is a good piece of pyrite, and I'd like to see you do a little video with your char cloth.
That sounds
Go
fun.
ahead and get a fire going.
Fire, fire.
Fire, fire. Can you do that?
Yeah.
You think you can do that? This is for you. This is another gift.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. This is actually our funnel page on Facebook. It's our I don't know what you would call it, our business page.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.